2025 NCAA March Madness Men's Tournament is back, and this time it is bringing all the feels. The biggest event in college sports tips off March 18th, and you don't want to miss a second of the heart-pumping action. Catch all the clutch shots, big-time plays, upsets, Cinderellas, Blue Bloods, and more. Tune in to the NCAA Men's Division I Basketball Championship March 18th through April 7th on TBS, CBS, TNT, True TV, and Stream on Max.
It's time for basketball, and Uber Eats is dropping deals on game day favorites to keep you locked in on the action. Like when you're craving a buzzer beater, but also buffalo wings. Or when an upset makes you want to ugly cry into a pizza. And right now, Uber Eats has game day deals from Burger King, Buffalo Wild Wings, KFC, and hundreds more local favorites. So you can keep your eyes on the ball and your hands on a burger. Order now, only on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does, without me lifting a finger. So I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
Happy Eve of March Madness, guys.
That's new.
You're not pumped, June? This is one of my favorite holidays. That March Madness, the first day of the tournament. I'm all pumped. I'm all jazzed. I'm ready to call off. I'm ready to just watch basketball all day.
Get drunk on St. Patrick's Day, and then you sit down and watch basketball.
That
right?
works. That works. That works, June.
I mean,
Dave,
I like, March Madness, but I never, looked at it as the Wednesday
holiday,
as March Madness Eve.
Oh man. There's the eve to the eve, and everything else. You just countdowns. You're just counting down how many more sleeps you have until the big day.
Okay, we got to find some hobbies.
And how many more brackets you can get in real quick?
Oh my God, man. See, I do this every year. I wait to the last minute to do my brackets.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
First you go from I'm not doing one this year, and then it gets down to the wire, and I guess I'll do one.
Yeah. I try to do at least 12. Something like that.
Whoa. That's crazy. What's the fun in having 12 different winners? Well, they're not always 12 different winners.
Well,
but...
yes, because you're not going to have 12 different winners. You're
right.
more than likely going to have 12 different losers.
Right. That's why he does 12. He has to get something right.
Yeah, I want to get it right. That's the fun. You do one with logic, you do a few with your heart, you do a few with gambling in mind, and next thing you know, you got 12 out there.
A few to 12 is kind of crazy, but hey,
maybe we'll see. I got one that might have a Big Ten winner. Hail to the victors. No spoils, but
how about you,
Foster?
The Spartans are pretty good this year, so maybe them, maybe them. Although I know some people may not believe that March Madness Eve is a thing, but if you don't celebrate, no harm, no foul. happy National Poultry Day to those who do celebrate that.
My goodness.
Yeah. I hope everybody's enjoying their $12 eggs. Speaking of 12. So free agency, guys. It's been, other than the first, 72 hours, it's been pretty quiet, right?
Let's speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe some people have been quiet the whole time. I don't know. If you're one of our brothers to the north, Wisconsin. But we'll talk about them in a second.
To the west.
They had a pickup today.
They did?
Yeah.
Well, look, don't spoil the surprise. I want to know all about it in one segment. But first, let's start with the defending NFC North champs, those Detroit Lions. Guys, you all picked up DJ Reed and a few other names, but I think I want to start with DJ Reed because I think he's the most notable guy.
He's the only notable guy.
Oh, okay, the only notable guy. Adjectives work.
Yeah.
So you all got him for 16 a year, right? Am I reading that correctly?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. So tell me this. What makes him a very viable piece going into this season as you try to defend that NFC North crown?
Well, one of the things we had that wasn't, in our favor in some games last year was our defensive backfield. And Carlton Davis was a possibility of him bolting. He was saying things a week prior, with tweets and saying he won't make the same mistake again, settling for less because he knows what he does on the football field. So it was essential to either to get someone like Reed because we knew there was a strong possibility of him not accepting the offer that the Lions had. Talking about Carlton Davis, him not accepting that the offer. So signing DJ Reed was like a replacement. And for, like I said before, for a lot of us, for a lot of fans, they consider it somewhat of an upgrade. I think it's kind of like maybe, around the same thing. You get DJ Reed's a little shorter, but his heart and his what he displays on the football field is, is really, really good. So
and his durability as well.
Yeah. Well, there was a quote that said the best availability is durability. So I mean, the best ability is durability. I'm sorry. And availability. So, yeah. So, he's been healthy. That's not been the case with Carlton Davis. No knock to him. But one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I was hoping that the Lions would do was either re-sign Carlton Davis or get someone like DJ Reed. And I threw DJ Reed's names out there. I didn't think there would be a chance with Aaron Glenn being the coach there. I don't think he would let one of his starting corners go. But,
it's never his, but.
No, it's never his. But I'm just saying, like, if I'm the head coach going in there and in the starting corner from last year, and I was a former D-back, I mean, I might do a little coercing to make sure he stays, but they got another corner over there, so it is what it is.
So I see that this $16 million per season deal given to DJ Reed is the highest external contract given out by Brad Holmes since he became the GM at Detroit. What's the word? Reservations? Paying that much money out to a cornerback, a secondary player?
Nah, I think that especially when Carlton Davis went out the door and how impactful he was when he was on the field, it was essential that we go out and get somebody. So to be able to get, arguably the best guy available. Nah, I mean, corners is just one of those positions that the Detroit historically has always been short at. So we're not ready to completely hand the keys over to Terrion Arnold in the slightest. So we had to bring somebody in that's a veteran, that's been around, that can kind of show guys the ropes. We got a couple other young cornerbacks, and his Record Straw being one that we drafted last year that missed a lot of time with hamstring injury. So he can certainly use the assistance and tutelage of a veteran guy that's, pretty much held his own on the opposite side of the field for, many, many years, and on a very strong New York Jets defense. So it had to be done once the Carlton Davis situation collapsed.
Yeah, I think a lot of people maybe not as plugged into the National Football League, more so just their division, or they're just their hometown team, or whatever team they choose to root for, that Sauce Gardner got a lot of the New York Jets defense attention, at least especially in the back half of that defense. Not too many people that weren't plugged in didn't understand that DJ Reed was also very good in his own right on his side of the field. In fact, I would tell you last year he was the best corner on that team.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, I think Sauce he regressed a lot. All he did was hold, and DJ actually still played defense. But that's a major loss for New York. That's probably their only loss this offseason, because I think they've also made some pretty good upgrades, particularly in the QB room. But we don't need to go into that just right now. Other key notable additions the Detroit Lions made were former Cardinals defensive tackle Roy Lopez, former Colts linebacker Grant Stewart. They got a QB from the Steelers, Kyle Allen, and a tight end, Kenny. Pronounce his name for me. Your boy?
I don't know his name.
Your boy.
Your boy. That's your boy.
That's your boy.
That's your boy. I think out of these guys, who do you think would be the second best addition this offseason? I know you all say DJ Reed is clearly the guy that you've got, but who is the guy to the guy?
I think it would be Levi Onwuzurike. I think the D tackle that they resigned, and then they resigned a guy me and Foster are very fond of, Muhammad, today. So Muhammad was one of those defensive ends that played a lot last year when everybody was hurt, and he did a pretty good job. So me and Foster are very happy about that signing. But I think Levi Onwuzurike, it would be that second best big signing in the free agent period for us.
Okay. But so you're saying a re-sign is your best, not none of the new guys.
So as far as new signees, I like the Brock Stewart guy. He seems to be he appeared to be a fan favorite over in Indy. I was looking for us to upgrade or bring in somebody that could, just bring something new to the linebacking core. And I think that I think that Brock Stewart isn't somebody that you want being your primary every down, start 17 games. But I think he's a very formidable player in a pinch if you need somebody to step in. I think he had a 17 tackle game against the Dolphins last week, and he's a nice upgrade on the special team side of things. He has one career touchdown in his career, and it was on a block punt return for a touchdown. And the guy that we had playing that role previously is, had gotten older. Granted, he was a Pro Bowler, but Jalen Reeves-Maybin is pretty much Brock Stewart is his predecessor as a depth linebacker and a special team specialist.
All right. So let's talk about the guys going out the door now. You already spoke about Carlton Davis. He's taking a 3-year deal to go to New England to play for Vrabel. Other than that, you had Zadarius Smith. He's walked. Kevin Zeichler, who I'll let you all do it. You said Melifon, pronounce his name?
Iffy Melifon. Yeah.
Iffy.
Yeah, there you go.
You said he resigned, or
no? He left. Miami.
He left. Okay, he's in Miami now too. So out of those 4 guys, which one is the 2-part question? Which one is the biggest loss? And do you think any of the guys you brought in could possibly fill in for all of these departures?
I think for me the biggest loss is Zeitler, the right guard. But and we didn't bring anybody to take his place. We had a young man that was I think he's in his second year this year or third. I'm not quite sure, but Mahogany, he's a pretty good guard, and he played for Zeitler when he was out the one game and he did a pretty good job. They're very high on him. I think Zeitler would be the biggest loss, and for me, Iffy was a big loss because I was a big fan of Iffy. He didn't get the opportunities to play as much as he did last year, but the year prior to that, he was out there making plays, and I thought he would be back to that kind of form this year. But injuries kept him out. But I thought he'd be another person that they would bring back. Because you can do so many things with Branch. You can move Branch out of that safety position to play the nickel if need be, and you could put Iffy back there, and you didn't lose a step as far as safety play. You can blitz with Iffy. Iffy was 6'2", 6'3", ran like the wind, and he could hit and he could blitz. So he was one of those pieces that that you hate to see go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if he's a guy that if he can stay healthy, you're gonna hear a lot about him. Yeah, his ceiling as far as athletic ability is very high. He just never could stay on the field. There was certainly opportunities for him to thrive, but he just never was consistently playing. So, but yeah, I would share the same sentiment as far as Kevin Zeitler being the best actual player that we're losing. Carlton Davis is up there, certainly. But, I think as far as the guy replacing Kevin Zeitler, Christian Mahogany, he's only going into his second year, but he'll be 25 by October. So he's a guy was being groomed to be the predecessor, and he's a little bit older. It's not like he's a super young guy. So he's a little bit more mature than his, years in the NFL would suggest. So hopefully that won't be a major, a major decline, but yeah.
What's Mahogany's nickname? Bigwood?
I would never call him that, but
I'm just asking.
Because of the last name, because Mahogany. Yeah.
That's a good one.
I hope
That's
not.
a good one.
Took me a minute to pick up on that, but hey, pause.
That's a good
Yo,
I know that's what they say.
Name for an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's his last name.
Last name.
Bring the wood, Mahogany.
Yeah, bring the wood. That's fire.
There you go. I agree that Zeitler's probably the best guy that you probably lost. So I saw a stat. I think the Detroit Lions ran to the right. Was it 62% of the time last season?
Mm-hmm.
So losing the guard in between Penei Sewell and Frank Ragnow, two all pros. Yeah, that's probably going to sting a little
Zeitler
bit.
played left guard, didn't he?
I have it as the guy. I have him lining up in between Penei and Ragnow. But
I thought the
right side, right side of the offensive line.
I thought right guard was Glasgow.
You would know better than me. I'm just reading off my notes. So
I could be wrong. I don't know. I thought that's what I thought though.
On the depth chart, it has Mahogany now as the right guard. So I'm assuming that's where Zeitler was at.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Your running game last year going to the right, as I saw, it was said 62% of the time, and 62% of your runs went to the right, and that rushing attack was very potent last year. I, as a Chicago Bear fan, I'm happy to see him go because maybe you'll come back to the pack a little bit. No lion pun intended. But even still having Ragnow and Panacea over there, I don't want to diminish Ziegler, his importance, but in between those two guys, it would be hard for me to think that what's his name, the guy that's replacing him now.
Don't sleep on Mahogany, man. I'm telling you.
Hey, I if his name implies anything, I'm sure he's going to bring it.
Hey, yo.
His nickname was His nickname was actually coined from Brad Holmes as Dirtbag, for what it's worth. So,
sounds like a young man in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I would hate somebody whose name implies Big Wood to also be a dirtbag. All right, so
not a good correlation.
It's just not good.
It definitely doesn't correlate too well. But you guys, all right. Thanks a lot for the Detroit Lions. Let's swing it around to the windbags from Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers. Has anybody heard from them this offseason? Have they done anything?
Yes, they have.
What have they done?
Today they signed Nicole Hardman from the Chiefs, the wide receiver.
Ooh, Miko. Let me ask you this question. I'm fairly familiar with Miko, fairly. Is he very? Would you say he's very available? Like that you said, somebody.
Obviously, he was very available. I mean, his name wasn't mentioned a lot in the free agency. You know, like at the beginning of free agency, I didn't even know he was a free agent. So for him to pick him up today is, I don't know.
But as far as his durability, better question. Is he someone who you can expect to make 15 starts at least?
He had 10 last season.
10
games
on a very injured Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver room. He had 10 starts, huh?
Yeah.
14 targets,
but
12 receptions.
Whoa, Dave, you're throwing a lot at me. Did you just say 10 starts, 14 targets?
And 12 receptions, yes.
Dave. Pat Mahomes is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever seen.
Could be a future GOAT, yes.
Let's not go too far.
Could be. I mean, he's got a ways.
He's on the way. He's on
the path. He's on the. You're right. He's in route. He's on the path. He's got the Google Maps pulled up. He knows how to get there. He just got to get there. Right. Are you telling me this guy could only find this Miko character 14 times out of 10 starts?
Affirmative.
And Miko caught how many of those passes?
12.
12 of them. Oh, he makes good use of his opportunities.
Do you remember when Josh Jacobs said we need a number one receiver?
The running back said that.
The running back said that, and it was to the chagrin of the wide receivers there, like, oh, really? And then they go out and they get Nicole. I mean, they go get Hardeman. I mean,
Miko.
Whatever.
He's Nicole now.
He's a Green Bay Packer. You're gonna call him Nicole.
Wow. All right. So I don't know how to explain this 14 target situation. Is he just like was he hurt? Is he, because he's a return guy. So one of the issues the Packers had last season was durability in that wide receiver room. Christian Wood, Dobbs, fill in the blank. All of them are just constantly rolling ankles or tearing something, or doing something in which they can't finish games or be ready for the next week, right? Is Miko, and it doesn't sound like Miko is an addition or an improvement in that area. Do we all agree with that?
I think the Packers have done done very little this offseason. And most of their fans are thinking that. I read a post today that we've been sitting here. I'll paraphrase. The guy said, we're sitting here waiting for a top wide receiver. And we let DK and who else? DK and the kid down in Miami that was down there. And we get and T. Higgins, I think. And then we get Michael or Mecole effing Hardman. They're quite upset. They haven't done squat. All they've done is they got what?
They got an offensive lineman, right?
They got Aaron Banks, which they paid too much for, which will be a joke, but okay. They have Nate Hobbs, a corner, formerly of the Raiders. He 4-year deal, $48 million. Should see where he rolls in, but that's supposed to revamp their secondary.
Whatever happened to Alexander? Did they lose him or?
And then they got Mecole Hardman. I'd have to look it up, but
okay.
Hardman hasn't had a good season in a couple of years.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what you got to tell me is that the Packers have no good news to report.
Yes.
Well, they got the professional quarterback. The professional has another target to throw to.
The professional quarterback who used to have the highest guaranteed dollar contract in NFL history. And chiming in from our live chats, Tim Lyons, right on time, overpaid.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
No arguments from here. All right.
But from what I gather, the Packers fans that bleed over onto my channel and to my feed, they're upset over what the Packers have done so far this season.
Well, upset looks good on them, Dave.
Upset I know it does. It's quite enjoyable.
But you know what though, you can attest to a lot of that too. You have two teams in the division that's making a lot of moves, right? It even if you lose sight on what your team needs to do, if you see people around you making all of these upgrades, so maybe, just maybe, they feel they don't need as much help as other teams. I'm talking about the organization, not the fans, because the fans want to see acquisitions, they want to see signing. You know what I'm saying? But maybe from their standpoint, we just need a little bit of help. Maybe. I'm just playing devil advocate here. I hope
and they'll get that little bit of help all the way to fourth place.
I hope so.
I do too.
Everyone watching live. Everyone watching live. Packers come in fourth place in this division. I need everyone to chime in. I need that question answered. Let's take a break real fast. We'll come back to the other two teams in which June referenced. Those two teams that have been most active in the free agency period. Watching live, stay put. You're listening on audio. Check out our partners. And we'll be right back on the other side of this break.
The Bears.
Oh, Lord. Oh, boy. I'm glad he's muted.
I'm glad he's muted too.
That was a faux pas on my part. Mm-hmm. Dave, I don't know who should go first, me or you.
That's fine.
You should.
I should go first. Okay. So we've all heard about what Chicago Bears have done this free agent period. We've picked up player after player after player after player. But for this week, there have not been any other news on the football field that pertains to the football field. There's actually been something else that's been going on. And I think it's worth discussing. It might not hit everybody the same way outside of Chicago, but this is definitely important. So the Illinois State Assembly, they have a proposed bill that they've debated today, actually, right now. In fact, it is 5:50 Eastern, so it is actually going to hit the floor in 10 minutes Chicago time. The proposed bill would require professional sports teams to have a record of at least 500 or better in 3 out of the past 5 seasons to be eligible for public financing for a new stadium or renovations to an existing one.
Wow.
This
you suck, you get no money is basically what it is.
Now, as fans, I think we all agree with this part, right? Like we all like this, right?
Yeah, it encourages the team to be trying to win.
Not just that.
The
as a
ownership
taxpayer, you want some immediate
returns.
You want some payback. Yeah, you want some payback for what you're paying for, and you want to see that. You want to see that manifested into the on-field product. I get it from a taxpayer standpoint, right?
And when they do get paid, it builds up the whole esprit de corps. Hey, we got the Bears, and just like back in 1985, and and they're proud of it. I can understand that a little bit.
No. From a base level, it makes total sense. Now, for me, I'm not somebody that sees these things as just from the vantage point as a fan, right? I understand these things are very complicated billion-dollar real estate deals, and with any real estate deal, whether the complicated or non-complicated, you will have a certain level of red tape. Red tape is, it's basically a fancy word for saying there's politics involved.
Yeah, the bureaucracy gets in there and they put out their hand, giving me money.
Right. So with that being said, you can't even begin to put to tie a real estate deal to whether or not you finish 9-8 in a season. There's so many other levels to this, right? I cannot wait to see the news, to see how this debate and how it turns out, because it will be decided tomorrow. They will vote on it tomorrow after they discuss it today, rather, right? But
there's a simple solution to it.
The simple solution is to throw this out.
No, it's for, the McCluskeys or your owners?
The McCluskeys, the McCaskies.
McCaskey to say, all right, we're moving.
Yeah, that would be the thing. And
San Antonio, wherever, Memphis, wherever.
Yeah, the Bears are not leaving. I ask Cleveland. You will find out the hard way that you cannot leave unless we give you permission.
Milwaukee.
Cut it out, Dave. That was disgusting.
Right across the
border. Dave.
Second team in Indianapolis. Go over the other border.
No.
Gary. No. All right. That was crazy.
The Gary Bears.
The Gary.
So any real estate deal is going to cost billions of dollars. It's definitely going to have definitely has a public interest. We all understand that. And because it has a public interest, it's going to require some public money. Sometimes it doesn't. Shout out to Jerry Jones in Dallas. He can do that. Others, the McCaskies, who's on the football team for 100 years, whose money is in the football team, not in oil. Shout out to Jerry Jones again. They're going to have to do some other things.
The only team that's solely owns their stadium is the Patriots, I believe.
I think it's actually 3 teams in the NFL that own the stadium. Okay. Well, maybe paid for the construction of the stadium. I'm thinking about that differently. But as far as the Bears, I believe this whole going back and forth between the Bears and getting public financing, let's just cut it out. You all come to the agreement, build a new stadium on the lake, right in city limits, and let's be on our way. Now the Sox, on the other hand, they can get the hell out. They don't deserve public money. They deserve to just get out and leave the concessions, because that's the only thing they're good for. Dave, the biggest news in this division so far this week has been also a free agent decision from the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this time you didn't pick up anybody, but you did make a decision. Why don't you tell us about it?
Tom Pelissero reported this morning that the Minnesota Vikings are out on Aaron Rodgers as of now.
What?
That J.J. McCarthy is the QB1, and the Vikings are going forward with that. They will be looking for a veteran backup QB on the market, but they're not going with Aaron Rodgers at this time. Now, if J.J. McCarthy knee explodes in August, they may revisit it. But as of right now and through the summer, the J.J. McCarthy era has begun. And the whole mess of listening to, Vikings are going to get Aaron Rodgers. He's going to demand to start. He wants a 3-year, $100 million contract. Minnesota Vikings fans can breathe a sigh of relief that sanity came to Egan. And it was decided that J.J. McCarthy is the QB1 and will take us to glory in 2025.
So if the Vikings are out, Dave, where does that leave Aaron Rodgers? And two, you said maybe they revisit this later on the season. Come on, there's no way that prima donna. I'm sorry. There's okay, so it'll be a different quarterback. You're not implying that glory hound, that prima donna, Aaron Rodgers.
No. It would have to be
also. Yeah, okay. As long as you're not saying that he's going to sit out and wait through training camp.
Nope. Now he may wait to see what's going on. He may string the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are leading the pack on the possible landing spot, or the New York Giants, who are the other team. But no, it's the J.J. McCarthy era starting in Minnesota all out. And do you know how many quarterbacks made it to the Super Bowl their second year after basically not playing their first year in NFL history?
Let's guess. I do know how many head coaches have. Well, you said not playing their first year.
Well, for the most part. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is one of them. He played in week 18 of his rookie year, but it was his second year he made it, and he won.
Oh, okay, second year starting.
3 years, 3 others.
Brady?
I believe Brady was one of them.
When Bledsoe got hurt.
Yeah, Brady was second year player. He went to the Super Bowl. Dan Marino went his rookie year.
No, Dan Marino also went in the second year.
Oh, he did go in the second year. Burrow.
Kirk Cousins. Or not Kirk Cousins. Kurt Warner.
Oh, yeah, Warner, you're right. Wait.
The grocery man.
He was on that. Oh, that was uncalled for. But he was on the roster that first
the year before.
That year with Trey.
Mm-hmm.
What did Burrow do? Burrow, he got hurt his rookie year. In the second year, they did.
But did he make the Super Bowl? Hey, it could be wrong. I could be wrong. I only saw 4 names. I don't remember if Burrow was one of them or if it was the GOAT. And I think the GOAT made it. And I know Mahomes made it, and I know the other one.
Mahomes is a little bit of a trick because, that's a good question. I had to look it up.
Which means it can be done.
So you're saying there's a chance.
It's got a higher likelihood than a 41-year-old, going to be 42, washed-up quarterback coming off second year off of a busted Achilles that has.
Hold on, Dave. Hold on, Dave. I'm sorry to cut you off, but you say he's what kind of quarterback?
41-year-old.
41, going to be 42.
Before that,
I don't know. What did I say? Piece of junk?
I don't know.
Piece of junk works. I just wanted to make sure I heard it again. Well, you actually said washed up, but I just, piece of junk fits.
Up. Yes. And now his arm is still decent. It's not like Peyton Manning was. with the Broncos when he went there and he was throwing noodle stuff. But his legs aren't. But the odds of a 41, going to be 42-year-old, washed up quarterback coming in and getting to the big show are less than that quarterback coming in his second year.
So, Dave, if you think he's washed up, and I know he's washed up, why doesn't every other team believe that he's washed up? Because there's some teams out there, somebody's going to sign him, and somebody's going to say he's going to take it to the promised land.
Because people live in the past, and they see those 4 MVPs. They see the Super Bowl one in 2010, and they go, he can do it again. And they don't look at history. They don't look that most quarterbacks start to fall off at around the age 35.
I don't think Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Tom Brady is a unicorn. Not everybody can do that. So they're gonna bet, hey, he can do that. He's better than what we have, is what they're going to say. Pittsburgh, Giants, and they're going to go that route. And they're going to believe it. It's hope. The fans are going to hope that it can happen. That, some miracles can happen and he can lead them to the promised land. When all the rest of the league sits there and laughs.
So it seems like Pittsburgh is the last Mohican, because I can't see him going to New York Jets. Somebody has let's use the word prideful as Aaron Rodgers. I can't see him going to the Giants. It would be the Steelers. It has to be the Steelers. And I can't. And you say he's going to lead them to the promised land. Well, everyone's going to have to believe it. I can't wait to watch it.
Oh yeah. Oh, the Steelers fans are going to go nuts. They're smarter than that. The majority of them. But there was less than 20% of the Vikings fans that were, oh, yeah, he can take us all the way. Look at what he did in the past. And we're going, no, but he's not going to do it in the future. And he's going to blow up the culture and he's going to cause more problems. And do you want to watch him, once a week on a podcast trashing other people? Do you want him throwing out Kevin O'Connell plays because he doesn't like them? No. To heck with that. Vikings made the correct decision. And we're on to JJ McCarthy.
We have another live comment from Tim Lyons. Shout out to the Cincinnati Bengals. Congrats on your mega signings this week as well. Rodgers is going to retire.
That's a possibility.
I forbid that. He cannot leave until we get a piece of that ass. We have to pay him back, Dave. There's no way he can leave the division, run off, and do all that conspiracy theory talking on the Pat McAfee show and do his shoot his shade and all that other stuff. Nah, you got to come on back. Come on back to our schedule. Run the fade, then you can leave.
Yeah, but he's probably still going to own you if that happens, and then you're going to lose your public funding.
Belt to ass, Dave. belt to ass. Leather to skin is what we got for him this time. Public funding. That's funny. All right. So now that that's out the way, the main story for the division, Aaron Rodgers is no longer entertaining. Well, the Vikings are no longer entertaining the mercurial quarterback that is Aaron Rodgers.
Now, with this whole saga,
do we think
the Vikings that sought out
the
Aaron
Vikings?
With this whole saga, it wasn't the Vikings that sought out Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers came begging to the Vikings to be a part of it. That's dead straight. He approached us.
No, you're right. You're right. It was Aaron Rodgers that approached the Vikings and it was the Vikings that said, "We'll let you know. Let's think about it for a second." That's how it came from, and now, as you say, as you started off, Kevin O'Connell, as he has carte blanche to make all the decisions for the football team. He said no. He said, "Nope, we are going to not do that, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. You can do your conspiracy theories with another team."
And he's known him his whole career.
Mm-hmm.
They played together. Rodgers was in the league when KOC was at quarterback, and they grew up together out in California. That's the only reason the Vikings entertained the question.
Yeah, they shouldn't have. They really shouldn't have. I think it was a waste of you all's time. But I want to circle back to that thing you said about JJ McCarthy and how, it's possible that he can hit the ground running and take you all to the promised land, somewhere the Vikings haven't been since 76. Over under, Dave. Let's play a game. Over under 29.5 touchdowns thrown for JJ McCarthy this season.
That's a good number. I'll go over.
Ooh,
slightly over.
Oh, he's having a Pro Bowl season.
Probably under 35, but
okay. B. Foster, I see you chomping at the bit over there. You're our college football fan. In fact, I'm gonna get June in this too because he's a Wolverine fan. What was his JJ McCarthy's career best in touchdown passes while he was the man in charge at the big house?
I've seen every throw from JJ McCarthy while he was here, but I don't know that number.
What is it? It's got to be low because they were running offense.
He only started. How many years did he actually start?
I think 2.
Oh, no.
He got runner-up the first year and then national championship the second year.
So he's a winner. I mean, he's proven, right?
Mm-hmm.
More so than Tom Brady coming in. Yeah, I want to know. Let me know that his career high in touchdown passes thrown. Another question, Dave. Over under. You all did make some additions to your offensive line this free agency period.
Mm-hmm.
Over under 30 sacks given up by the Minnesota Vikings this season.
Ooh, that's a nice low number. And you got it probably about right. I would say, I'll take the under.
Come on, Dave. Dave.
We're going to be the number one offensive line in the league, especially if a trade rumor happens.
I'm unfamiliar with this rumor, Dave. What rumor are you speaking of?
Well, the Vikings have about $30 million in cap space left because of the way they've arranged contracts so far. And people are wondering, what are they going to use it for? One of the known rumors, or one of the proposed rumors, is that we're going to do a trade with the Indianapolis Colts.
No.
Because somebody's coming up on I think it's this last year under his contract. And instead of having 40% of their offensive line, we'll have 60% of their offensive line. And Quentin Nelson.
Come on, Dave.
Will come to Minnesota.
We don't have
like I said, it's just a rumor. I'm not validating it. But if it happens, I'll be smiling all month long.
How much juice is left in the tank with Quentin Nelson?
He's only going in his third contract.
I mean, for a June.
Yeah,
for a
Yeah, he had
22.
he had 22 touchdown passes in 2022, and he also threw for almost 3,000 yards in 2023 in a running offense. Not bad.
I've heard Michigan fans say that, they've rebuffed all of the critique about his arm and anything like that. He can make every throw.
Yeah,
is what I've heard.
Oh,
He
yeah.
can make every throw. And once you put him into the league and put him into a passing offense, give him, professional wide receivers, he will show out.
He has a strong arm. He was a gunslinger. He was. They wouldn't play him early because he had no fear. He was throwing the coverage. He tried to make plays that wasn't there, and they had to tame him some. But he's not shy at all, and he's pretty good on the move. He's pretty fast at his position, and when he was healthy, they ran him some too.
And I can guarantee the Vikings have better wide receivers than Michigan does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back to Quentin Nelson. If that does happen, Quentin Nelson does get traded to the Vikings.
It's just a dream, but it's come up. It's a rumor that's out there.
Yeah, it's still rumor season as we get closer and closer to the draft. Believe less of what you hear, and I would choose not to believe any of that.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. Hey, I'd love it. He's only 29, but I'd take him, giving him an extension. Oh, hell yes. And then bookend him with two of the best tackles in the league. Shit, yes.
All right. Last thing. Last question for you, Dave, before we start closing up shop. Justin Jefferson's college teammate, Ja'Marr Chase, he exceeded his record-breaking contract this past week. Ja'Marr Chase is now a $40 million a year wide receiver. Any thoughts on that? Because I remember last year when Justin Jefferson got his contract, we were very like, yes, he should be getting paid $35 million. He should be the highest paid non-quarterback ever because he is that good and no one comes close. Dave, your thoughts?
And that was true then and still true now, but he was beat by Max Crosby by what, $50,000, I think it was. And then there's a couple other people, Myles Garrett being one of them that got beat this year. And now Ja'Marr Chase. Ja'Marr Chase has, when they compare the two, they've got slightly different numbers. Ja'Marr Chase has more, I think it's longer passes or longer touchdowns and such. They're buddies. They played together. That whole LSU group that got drafted that year has made over $600 million. They are outstanding.
That's the price of eggs.
Yeah, I'm happy for Ja'Marr Chase. It makes Justin Jefferson, the price more editable. It's cheaper. It's less, percent per cap than Ja'Marr Chase. Now, what Cincinnati's doing with Ja'Marr Chase and was it T. Higgins, paying them so much money along with Burrow. I got a question. Who's going to play defense? Who's going to play on the offensive line? They can't afford it.
Good question, Steve.
Those three players take up like 47% of the offensive cap or something ungodly number like that. And it's like, who else is going to play?
Won't be Mr. Hendrickson. It's looking like.
But it's interesting.
You breaking news, Foster?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, he wants to get paid soon, and where is that going to come from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just trade him to Detroit. Just throwing that out
there. Cincinnati has its own issues. They've tried to improve the facility some and all that, but but they've got a good, 3.
They as
Get chilly down there.
as it's always been with Cincinnati. They got to pull it from somewhere. Dave, I'm sure you have more in-depth analysis on these rumors and what's next coming for the quarterback room, or if you all do add a veteran at some point or the other, this point of the offseason, where and when can we hear all that?
Well, normally it's tonight at 6:00 with the Real Forno. However, tonight's Real Forno's got moved till tomorrow night. I have some house viewing to do because my move's coming up real shortly. I'm heading back to the St. Louis area, and I need to find a home. But on Vikings First and Skull, you can find us, the Real Forno Show, which will be moved to Thursday night at 6:00. We had Sal Spice and Scolders and Spice last night. She was on with a guest, Viker R, who talks about a rumor that the money may be spent on trading for Kirk Cousins. And then, of course, on Sunday, we have 2 old bloggers with Darren Campbell and myself on Vikings First and Skull. We're been podcasting publicly or writing publicly over 2.5 decades apiece. And that's what we do. And you can find us right where pay is showing on YouTube, podcasts, and even on the written side at Fans First Sports Network.
You know who's Scourges of Spice, that show, you know who that reminds me of? It reminds me of Katie Nolan a little bit. I get the vibe.
Sal's good at what she does. She came over from Believe Vikings. And her show is more of a Vikings lifestyle focus, but she knows her football. I'll give her that.
Shout out to all those good people that Believe too.
And she's not hard on the visuals either.
Yeah.
The Bears.
Oh, Jesus.
My Detroit brothers, the dynamic duo. The baseball season has started for one of us. Well, not neither one of us. Baseball season started for the Dodgers. It hasn't started for anybody else. So I know there's going to be a lot of traction, a lot of stuff going on the Bleachers and Speakers channel. Not just Detroit Lions talk. You have a potential playoff team in basketball coming up. Where can we talk about that? June B. Foster.
Look at the way Foster is froze.
Yeah, I see that.
That is classic. You can find me and B. Foster, and Foster will be unfrozen then on Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. You can catch us there. You can also follow us on all the aggregators that Dave mentioned. Just type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN in your search. You can also type in Postgame Podcast, FFSN in your search, and you can find us. Make sure you're following us. Download those episodes. Make sure that notification bell is on so when we drop, you'll get an alert. But there's a lot of good things going on. We are talking draft prospects on Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube. Foster's been doing a good job with that. He also has his Tigers show, Corner to Copa. We do the Pistons on there. And I do old school NFL Detroit Lion players and the Pistons players old school. So you'll be able to catch all of that on Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube.
Excellent. I can't wait. Cornucopia was a very good listen for me last season, especially when after midway through August, beginning of September, when Detroit Tigers turned it up a notch on everybody. I enjoyed that. Show very much. I can't wait to hear the rest of it. And also, it's good to see Detroit basketball back in the winning circle. It's been a while. I'm liking it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Catch us next week on the Detroit Lions stream, Biggest of Speakers. That's the home of this show next week. Every week we rotate the broadcast. So next week, like I said, we will be at the same bat time, same bat channel, but the channel will be Bleachers to Speakers. If you need that show, need that information again, here you go. Right there, Bleachers to Speakers, anywhere you get your audio and YouTube fix. So, with that being said, gentlemen, keep fighting the good fight. Keep hating on the Packers. See you all next week.
Skol Vikings.
All right. There you go. That was a good one, June. That was a good one. And as always,
The Bears.
Bear down, everybody.
Oh.
Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say three things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.